right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Fire and fury.
The drought, the wind has just been unseasonably cruel to us.
Tonight, the warning from area firefighters during a spike of brush fires.
It's been more than a month since significant widespread rain has fallen in our region. That changes in less than 24 hours.
Tonight, damning testimony in the Daniel Riley trial.
I would say he was more concerned about himself than the child that was injured.
The evidence of drugs in his system and his demeanor after causing the crash that caused a teen to lose her legs. First tonight, clouds are building across the St. Louis region ahead of a storm system that could bring us some much needed rain. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Tomorrow we'll be in a weather alert as widespread rain will impact your afternoon commute. So let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, who's tracking it all in his Weather First forecast.
Sure are, Mike and Kelly. And you know, it's been over a month since we've had widespread significant rain around St. Louis. That'll be changing, but it won't change until late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening for St. Louis. Right now, it's the low clouds. You can see them looking past the arch on that camera from City Park. Those low clouds are just into St. Louis. They stretch off to the east and to the northeast. Some high clouds back to the northwest of us. Otherwise, skies are mainly clear, and the air traffic has been flowing right along pretty nicely. Looks like all the planes there in Terminal 2 are all set up and the lights are off on the planes, which means tomorrow morning's flights are already in place. All right, so you're looking at this moisture really ramping up here. Showers, thunderstorms developing across parts of Texas. That moisture's on the increase as we head into tomorrow. It is dry overnight into early Thursday. The rain arrives later Thursday. It ends by Saturday morning. We're expecting 1 to 2 inches, and so we'll begin a weather alert for tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening as that widespread rain pushes in just in time for the evening rush hour, which means it will be a slow go because roads will be wet in St. Louis. We'll talk about how much rain and just how it all evolves over the next couple of days and what your weekend looks like in just a few minutes, Mike.
Remember, you can get the latest Weather First forecast anytime. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send it straight to your phone. All that rain will be a relief for area firefighters. The ongoing dry conditions and high winds have led to numerous brush fires on both sides of the river, causing major issues for crews. One department in Jefferson County has responded to 35 brush fires in the last 2 weeks alone. New tonight, 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski talked with fire officials who have words of caution for the public.
Since February 18th, DeSoto Rural Fire and Rescue has responded to 100 calls. 35 were brush fires and 17 were structure fires.
And last year we had a total of 96 brush alarms. We do run a lot of brush fires, but the drought, the wind has just been unseasonably cruel to us, so the crews have been running pretty much 24/7. All of the different crews have been busy.
Deputy Chief John Scullin says many of the brush fires recently were ones that started as controlled burns and got out of hand. Some of them even happened on red flag days when burning was discouraged.
The biggest problem is people just wait too long to call quite often until there's a structure in danger or livestock. And by that time, the wind's gotten a hold of it, and it's just out of control most of the time.
And when that happens, a crew of 2 firefighters will head out in a brush truck and start the grueling task of what they call cutting a line.
With hand tools, usually you dig down to the dirt, get down to the base layer, trying to stop that fire, make a fire line. Leaf blowers, just making a path, big enough to stop that fire.
DeSoto Rural Fire says out of their 174 square mile district, only 5% have any sort of water source or hydrant like this one.
The brush trucks only, they're usually about 200 gallons of water. That's why we bring these big trucks with us, so we can fill the brush trucks up. But a lot of times we do have to call for more help because we need that much manpower and water.
Scullin says there are a few ways neighbors can help them, and it all starts with calling the firehouse.
We want people to stop, look at the weather, most importantly. If the humidity is low and the wind is high, anything over 6, 7, 8 miles per hour, and gusts especially, we want them to call and ask.
Reporting in DeSoto, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
Developing tonight, a day-long manhunt is now over in St. Francis County for a violent felon. Michael Pender was arrested about 90 minutes ago during a traffic stop. Police say he wasn't far from the convenience store where a deputy tried to arrest him this morning. She suffered arm injuries from being dragged by his ATV. Pender was wanted for several felony charges, including sodomy and arson.
A St. Louis father is now charged in the murder of his teenage son. Prosecutors charged Carl Walker Jr. today with second-degree murder for the deadly shooting back on January 25th. According to court documents, Walker shot his 16-year-old son Isaiah in the head after an argument. The teen was found lying in the road just north of Halls Ferry Circle in North County. He died a few days later. Carl Walker is a convicted felon and was not supposed to have a gun.
Tonight, a South St. Louis church where a woman claims 3 men held her captive and beat her is no longer condemned.
Robert Townsend has been following this high-profile case from the very beginning, and new tonight, he has reaction from a church member. Robert.
Mike and Kelly, the investigation at Mount of Olives Ministry is far from over, but now that the church is no longer closed, one member tells me the congregation is ready to reopen its doors this Sunday. A week ago, the city condemned Mount of Olives Ministry on Marceau Street. City officials say the church was not being kept up to code, being used for illegal purposes, and was a safety hazard. As a result, all services had to immediately stop.
When it was condemned, it was feel so bad.
But now, Aneko Chambe and other members are relieved to hear the city has lifted the shutdown and the congregation can return to its church.
I feel so happy, and I thank God.
I was surprised how fast they were in and out.
Pastor Arlie Singleton sold the church building to Mount of Olives 3 years ago. He was there when an inspector and 2 other city workers inspected the 2-level church Tuesday morning.
They went through the foyer area, they marched through the sanctuary, they were looking at all of the exits to see if there was adequate ways to get in and out of the building. I don't think they found very much that was wrong.
Singleton says inspectors found 1 exit sign inside the church needed a light bulb. He says they also thought an exit sign should be installed in another location inside the church. Singleton has been working closely with the church because a majority of its leaders and members are from Central Africa, speak Swahili, and very little English.
I also think, why was it an emergency if there's no emergency? And so that's something I'm sure that's going to be difficult for the congregation to wrestle with.
Meantime, these 3 men remain in jail, charged with kidnapping and assaulting a woman in a room at the church.
I would say it's a combination of a nightmare and a whirlwind.
Pastor Singleton says the city will send Mount of Olives Ministry citations regarding those 2 recommendations.
Tonight, police in the Metro East need your help identifying this man. They say he was involved in an altercation that led to a shooting at a Metro East bowling alley. It was a chaotic Sunday night at St. Clair Bowl in Fairview Heights. This is video of a large fight that broke out inside. Investigators say a later argument led to a shooting. 2 bystanders were shot. Police are still trying to figure out if the 2 incidents are related, but police say they do not believe the man they're looking for fired any of the shots. They do say he was involved in the altercation that led to the shooting, and anyone with information is asked to call police.
We are learning more tonight about the horrific crash that caused a Tennessee teen to lose her legs. Today was day 2 of the Daniel Riley trial, and 5 on Your Side was in the courtroom. Brent Solomon is live tonight outside the Carnahan Courthouse in downtown, where responding officers took the stand today. Brent.
That's right, Kelly. Janae Edmondson herself is expected to be the prosecution's very last witness. The judge here said he'd like this trial to wrap up by week's end. And today we were there as police officers defended their arrest.
Well, the dispatcher advised me that there was an accident in the downtown area that was possible fatal.
St. Louis police officers were called responding after the crash near 11th and St. Charles Streets in downtown St. Louis. 17-year-old Janae Edmondson in town from Tennessee, leaving a volleyball game at the time. In court, an officer testified a black box from Riley's car shows he accelerated from 5 miles per hour to 45 miles per hour within 5 seconds of crashing into a white Malibu, pinning Janae, who was walking at the time, to a parked car. She lost her legs.
Did anybody ask you to perform a field sobriety test on Daniel when you got called out?
No, sir.
So when you said that you had reason to believe that he was intoxicated, what were you referring to?
Objection.
In court Wednesday, a toxicology expert testified Riley had fentanyl, THC, and codeine in his blood. An accident reconstruction expert showed the jury 3D animations of the moments leading up to the crash. It shows two different angles. After the moment of impact, prosecutors asked police how Daniel appeared.
Calm, collected, not animated.
Nonchalant demeanor, non-remorseful.
He was relatively calm for what he just went through. I would say he was more concerned about himself than the child that was injured in the accident.
Nonchalant, just nonchalant.
Okay. Relax.
He's relaxing.
The defense questioned police about why no one else could have been at fault, including the Malibu driver that slammed into Riley when he sped through a yield sign. Court will resume tomorrow. Janae's mother is expected to take the stand. Live in downtown St. Louis tonight, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
And be sure to stay with 5 on your side for continuing coverage of the Daniel Riley trial. You can read more on KSDK.com and get alerts on the 5 on your side app.
New tonight, the Fox C6 school district held another public forum on a possible switch to a 4-day school week. Officials say it could save the district $2 to $3 million in its annual budget. Tonight, the superintendent of the Independent School District gave a presentation. It's the largest district in the state that operates on a 4-day week.
Are we hearing from families that's been very successful? Our number of teacher applications has increased over 360%. Our student attendance has gone up just under 2%.
Fox considered the change last year before deciding not to make the change.
Cinnamon concerns. First it was applesauce pouches. Tonight, the new warning about other items in your pantry that may have high levels of lead. Saving for school while making ends meet.
A 529 is a great tax advantage way to save and pay for qualified educational expenses.
Tonight, the new rules to protect your hard-earned money.
The Thursday morning rush hour should be dry, but rain is here by the afternoon drive home. How much falls, when it comes to an end, and what it means for our weekend.
Just hours ago, a New Mexico jury found the woman in charge of weapons on the set of the movie Rust guilty of involuntary manslaughter. The jury deliberated for just a few hours before reaching its verdict on Hannah Gutierrez Reed. They found her not guilty of tampering with evidence. 26-year-old faces 3 years in prison. Back in 2021, actor Alec Baldwin held a prop gun that fired a live round of ammunition on set that fatally shot cinematographer Helena Hutchins. He's pleaded not guilty to involuntary manslaughter, and his trial is expected to start in July.
Here's a live look tonight at Capitol Hill, where less than 24 hours from now, President Joe Biden will deliver his State of the Union speech. It's a chance for him to address his doubters and tout his administration's successes. You can watch the State of the Union address on 5 on your side, 5+, KSDK.com, and our YouTube page. Coverage starts at 8 o'clock. The primetime address comes as he prepares for a rematch with former President Trump, who is now the presumptive GOP nominee. His Republican rival, Nikki Haley, dropped out of the race today after a disappointing Super Tuesday performance.
Tonight, Congress took a major step toward averting a partial government shutdown on Friday. The House passed a package of 6 spending bills. It funds the FDA, Veterans Affairs, and HUD through September 30th, and the bill now heads to the Senate. The rest of the government is funded in 6 additional appropriation bills with a March 22nd deadline. Interest rates are expected to come down this year, but it's still not clear when. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell told lawmakers on Capitol Hill today, cutting rates too quickly can spur more inflation, while waiting too long poses a danger to economic growth. He says he needs to see more data before making a rate cut.
A consumer alert tonight. Check your spice rack. The FDA is expanding its recall of cinnamon products over concerns of high levels of lead. The recall now includes ground cinnamon from 6 brands: La Fiesta, Markham, MTCI, Swad, Supreme Tradition, and El Chiar. This comes after the FDA's investigation into tainted cinnamon applesauce pouches. There has been 460 confirmed and suspected cases of lead poisoning connected to those products sold under the Schnucks, Wanabana, and Weiss brands. The cinnamon used in those products was imported from Ecuador.
College tuition costs continue to rise. One of the most common savings plans for parents is a 529.
There are some new changes on how these accounts work that may make them more appealing. Michelle Lee breaks down what parents need to know in tonight's Making Ends Meet.
When it comes to saving for college, there are 3 types of accounts parents should know about. First, savings account. Your child can use the money for anything, and there's no penalty for withdrawals. But the interest you earn may be lower than other options. Then there's the custodial account. No withdrawal penalties as long as the funds are used for the child. Returns are taxed at the child's tax rate. The account can't be transferred to someone else. And then the 529 plan. Your money is invested over a period of years. Any return you earn is exempt from federal taxes. If you direct the funds toward educational expenses, your withdrawals are tax-free. Tony Durkin with Fidelity Investments says 529s offer great benefits.
A 529 is a great tax advantage way to save and pay for qualified educational expenses.
New this year, unused money can be rolled over into a Roth IRA.
That was a barrier to entry for some folks to get into 529s because they didn't know what would happen with those unused money.
Here's how that works. The 529 must be held for the designated beneficiary, in this case your child, for at least 15 years. The transfer amount is subject to IRS limits. It's $7,000 in 2024. There's also a $35,000 lifetime cap for each beneficiary. The tax benefits are a big selling feature.
Every state's different, but a lot of states offer a state tax deduction for contributions made to a 529 account.
And when it comes to savings, contribute as much as you can and often.
529s can help pay tuition for private, public, and religious elementary and secondary schools, as well as qualified education expenses like books and supplies. Both Missouri and Illinois offer state tax deductions for contributions to 529 plans. Back to you.
All right, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Scott Conlon with the Weather First forecast. Such a beautiful day today. I wish we could have the same type of day tomorrow.
It will be a lot more cloudy tomorrow, and it's dry in the morning. But we do need the rain, and we have some on the way. In fact, a decent amount of rainfall as we head into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, right on into Friday. Here's a look downtown right now from City Park. If you look closely, you can see some of those low clouds that are over St. Louis. They were pesky on the Illinois side of the river today. So as you went out Interstate 70, while we were enjoying sunshine in St. Louis, over, towards Vandalia and Effingham, not so much so. There are a couple of spritzes and sprinkles farther to the north of us, but at this point, our skies are variably cloudy across the St. Louis area. Downtown, we do have more clouds than at the airport. Still mostly clear at the airport, 45 degrees, no rainfall. Today, 61 was our top temperature, above average. We're not going to drop a whole lot more tonight, especially with those clouds backing in here from the east. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, low to mid 40s as we head through the nighttime hours tonight. Exploring this next system, look at the moisture feed coming out of the Pacific here across Baja, across Mexico, into the southwest. That does include areas around Texas where we're already starting to see some of those showers and thunderstorms. Plus, we have energy spinning ashore here across Southern California. The combination of these systems over the next couple of days will really ramp up our rain chances as we head into later tomorrow, into tomorrow night. So we're going to go ahead with a weather alert for Thursday later in the day into Friday because widespread rain is moving in before Thursday evening's rush hour. We expect slower traffic due to the wet roads and likely an early and late rush hour impact continuing right on into Friday as well. Let's time it out. Here's Futurecast. We should be dry in the morning. Temperatures in the 40s to around 50, into the mid 50s by lunchtime. Your rain lining up to the west and southwest of St. Louis. If you're from Warrenton down to Sullivan, Centerville, Fredericktown, you're starting to see that rain by lunchtime. It moves into St. Louis during the afternoon. About the time the kids get out of school, slides on through with the main areas still continuing across St. Louis in through the evening hours and overnight Thursday. Another surge of moisture early on Friday for the morning rush hour, then a bit of a break Friday. before we get more showers and some thunder rolling in here later in the day on Friday. By Saturday, this is pushing off to the south and east. We are much cooler, upper 40s to lower 50s as we head into Saturday afternoon. As far as the rainfall goes, decent amounts here. We're talking 1 to 2 inches widespread across the area. We badly need that. The last time we saw that much rain, that was at the end of January. So it's been more than a month. We haven't had a whole lot this month. So we'll go with our weather alert days. Badly needed rain, but coming during the rush hours for tomorrow afternoon. Not expecting severe weather out of this. So that's good news for us. That should all stay well to our south. We'll pick up some badly needed rain. A little cooler for the weekend, setting those clocks ahead an hour this weekend.
And then it looks like a lot of sunshine next week.
Next week's going to be
good. In the 70s.
Yeah, back into the 70s.
Yeah.
So St. Louis.
Yes, thanks. Corey is here with sports.
Well, we have some bad news for the Battlehawks. A look at the back end of the Cardinals bullpen, and we talk to one local product looking to shine at Arch Madness. Stick around, sports is up next.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
In 1 month, St. Louis will have its busiest sports day of the year. The Cardinals play at Busch Stadium, City SC plays at City Park, the Blues are in action on the road, and the Battlehawks host their home opener at the Dome. Now that is an ideal sports day. Some not ideal news from Battlehawks training camp today. Last year's leading receiver in the XFL, Ja'Cour Pearson, is headed to IR with a knee injury. Coach Beck said he does not expect Pearson to be out the entire year, though. The good news is that the Battlehawks are still loaded at receiver. Hakeem Butler and Darius Shepard are back from last year, and Blake Jackson and East St. Louis native Jeff Thomas are among other new additions at wideout.
Taking flight. Card Spring Training, sponsored by Woods Basement Systems.
No Cardinal spring training game today, so it gives us a chance to talk about the one real battle of camp. There are a couple spots open in the bullpen. New addition Riley O'Brien has turned some heads. Is he on the team already? What do you do with the lefty pair of Liberatore and Thompson, especially now, possibly without Sonny Gray to start the year? One question that already has an answer is who will be closing games. That's Ryan Helsley's job. And when healthy, he does it quite well. After only appearing in 33 games last year, Helsley wants a larger workload. Back-to-back games, multiple innings. Bring it on.
I feel like that's always been able to do that. You know, it's just been for me going back to back when you throw multiple ups instead of just getting one inning. You know, when you're going 4+ outs or 6 outs at a time and then trying to do the same thing the next day, it's just hard on your body and you can't withstand 162 games like that. So just trying to, be available every day and, help the team win.
Tomorrow, the college basketball madness truly begins. The Missouri Valley Conference tournament kicks off at Enterprise Center, and one local product is set on helping his team play spoiler. Missouri State and Donovan Clay play in tomorrow's opener. The Alton native and his Bears teammates will face Murray State at noon. This will be Clay's last go-around at Arch Madness, and though his team has not lived up to their preseason expectations, Clay has lofty hopes for this weekend.
To win it, that's the goal. I feel like we can do it. I know we had a rough season this year. We've been through a lot as a team mentally, but I feel like we're here to win it. Like we're gonna go out there with no regrets and play our hardest.
SIUE has to win 4 games in the OVC tournament to make the big dance. They started that quest tonight against Eastern Illinois, and if Rayshon Taylor plays like this, they could do it. 18 points in the first half for the Collinsville native, including a wild 3 to beat the halftime buzzer. SIUE is out to a nice 39-22 lead at the half. Congrats to Principia Panthers girls basketball. They defeated Norwood 37-25 today to advance to the Class II state title game. Freshman Deja Scott scored 24 points and added 14 rebounds in the victory. Principia will play for their first ever state championship tomorrow against Skyline. Time is ticking down on the NHL trade deadline. Doug Armstrong has about 40 hours left to make a big move. If you go on social media, you'll see plenty of theories. Toronto fans, they want Colton Parayko. Every fan base seems to want Pavel Buchnevich. With the Blues currently 6 points out of a playoff spot, I think we could be in store for an interesting move or two from Army and Company.
So your guess is that Buchnevich will not be a Blues player.
Everybody apparently wants him right now.
Yeah.
So if you can get a large return, I think they're going to do it.
All right. Corey, thanks.
From Paris to the Lou, the big trip Simone Biles is planning to her husband's hometown, and how you can see the GOAT in action.
You may have noticed gas prices have jumped nearly 25 cents in the last week. Well, tomorrow you can save 30 cents off per gallon. Circle K is hosting another Fuel Day promotion from 3 until 6. If you sign up for the new Inner Circle membership on the app, you can get 55 cents off per gallon.
Well, she is planning to go for the gold in Paris this summer. But this fall, Simone Biles is planning to tour America. The most decorated gymnast of all time will bring her Gold Over America tour to the St. Charles Family Arena October 15th. Tickets are now on sale for gymnastics clubs, and they'll go on sale to the general public later this spring.
And Sunday is National Ranch Day, and Hidden Valley is introducing a new flavor of America's favorite salad dressing, Cheesy Ranch, inspired by Cheez-Its. Hidden Valley says it pairs perfect with nachos, French fries, and soft pretzels.
I'll pass.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Have a great tomorrow.